What's up, YouTube? It's TF Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class, the 13 Quintus Prime, the newest member of our Primes here with Age of the Primes. And before we take a look at the figure itself, we will first take a look at the packaging that he comes in. So on the front, 15 steps, ages 8 and up, there's Quintus in Robot and Alt Mode. Transformers Age of the Primes, the 13 Quintus Prime with his little logo there. Hasbro on this side, a profile image of Quintus, Age of the Primes, the 13 Quintus Prime. On this side, you have your Primes, Age of the Primes, Deluxe Class. On the top, till all are one. On the back, there's his name. There are some product shots, 15 steps. Here's a relic that I don't know the name of, but I'll figure that out here in a second. Give me a minute. I'll get back to you on that. Authentic Hasbro. On the bottom, nothing. On the top, his name, and Takara Tomy. And one last thing before diving into Quintus himself, he does, of course, include his instruction manual. The 13 Quintus Prime, Transformers Age of the Primes, 8 and up, Takara, Hasbro, words, hooray. And now moving to the figure itself, here is Quintus as the alive squid tentacle jet thing that he transforms into. I don't know what this is, but it looks pretty cool in my opinion. But coming in close on the details, you can see the different color greens they used here on Quintus with a little bit of purple. Little bit of darker gray, almost black there, but coming down, some translucent green and whatnot, looking very awesome. Now, the tentacle parts are all rubbery, but they are done in the translucent green with a little bit of the darker green color there, but overall, looks pretty cool in my opinion. There's the top of it, and there's the bottom. He does have a visible head, but, you know, that is something that I'm not going to display my figure like this. I'm going to display it like this, so I don't really have to worry about that personally. But if you want to get mad, but overall, I think this alt mode looks pretty cool. And when it comes to Quintus's accessories, he does just come with one, and it is the Ember Stone here, done in translucent green, lime, yellow, whatever color you want to call this plastic. But as you can see, little Quintus logo there in the middle of it, but just a little stone that apparently has life-giving powers. So, bzz, you're alive, bzz, you're alive, woo, everybody's alive. But this can store here in alt mode, and this is another feature you get here that I'll go ahead and show. You can open the cockpit if you can get your nail under here. It takes me a little bit of effort because I just cut my nails, but you can open the cockpit, so you can have the cockpit open. I don't think you can really fit anyone down in there, but if you want to try, go for it. But basically, this will just port in down there, so just plug that in and then close that up over top of it, and there you go. There is the Ember Stone inside of Quintus. And one last feature to talk about here in alt mode is we do have an alternate configuration that is included in the instructions, and basically all you do to get that is come under here, untab these little arms, pull them back like so. Do the same thing here on the other side, and there you go. There is a second configuration for your Quintus in his Squid Jet Death Machine alt mode. And for an alt mode comparison, here is Quintus with the other primes that we have thus far, and I think this group is shaping up to be absolutely awesome. And that is about all I have to say for Quintus's alt mode here. I think it turned out really cool. I like the squid jet flying death machine thing, but to each their own. Me personally, I think it's awesome. But let's go ahead and transform him into his more awesome robot mode. I just have a soft spot for Quintus apparently. But let's go ahead and do it. So the first thing, we're going to flip under here and untab these once again. If you already had him in the other configuration, you won't have to do this. But just bring these pieces down like so, kind of get them up and out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and raise the camera because clearly we're going to need to get a bit taller here in alt mode. So the first thing I like to do is come work on the legs. So untab this piece here. You can see those two slots went into those two tabs. Basically just flare all of this out. Same thing back here, two tabs, two slots. Just flare all of that out. And the first thing you want to do is come here and just bring his feet forward like so. Now, this is a lot of translucent plastic, which I know can be nerve-wracking for some people. I haven't had any problems yet, but let's hope that doesn't change. Firstly, untab that from that groove there and just extend this leg downwards, and you can see the whole thigh is also done in that translucent there. So just be careful when you're transforming this figure, but bring both of those sides down, then flip around back here, and you want to get this piece untabbed. You can see that tab there just went into that slot there, and just bring that piece down, and that will fill out the calf area of Quintus like so. And then we can bring all of his flaps back down, all around and rotate 180 at the waist, and that is your lower body all done. So he does have some legs hidden under all his tentacles, but you're not really going to see them. We can bring these little arms down here like so and work on the upper body. We're going to come up slightly higher. So basically the first thing we're going to do is just split it all down the middle. So just split this whole section, and you can bring these shoulders down. You can see the shoulders actually do have grooves that go into little tabs there. But bring those down. You can then rotate the shoulder around so it is facing forward like so on both sides. Come here, bring these pieces back, and they will tab in right there. So just tab these sections in like so. Do the same thing on the other side here. Bring this back, tab it in like so, and then you can bring the arm down and rotate so the elbow is facing forward. Same thing here. Bring it down, rotate so elbow is facing forward. And the last thing to do is just bring his head down slightly so he is looking straight and not up for a squirrel, as Imgo would say. And there you go. There is Quintus in his very unique but awesome looking robot mode. And like I previously mentioned, I must just have a soft spot for Quintus Prime because I think this is an awesome design and just looks super cool. But coming in close on the head sculpt, you can see a little bit of darker green, almost like a silvery green used there on the face with the translucent eyeballs that do have a bit of light piping. The whole back of his head is light piping if you want to play around with that. But you can see very nice face plate. You do have some more of that purple there in the chest along with here on the biceps. And the greens they used actually look really good in my opinion. I like the metallic-y green that they kind of used all throughout. And very nice details also, especially in the chest cavity there, but just looks really cool. I love the way they designed the tentacles too, and I do appreciate they gave him some legs under there, even though they are all translucent plastic. Be scared. But as you can see, you have his other little tentacles here. But overall, backpack-wise, there's nothing to see here. He does have a little bit of kibble back here on the arms. Maybe they could have cleaned that up a little, but from the front profile, you can't really even tell that's there. So overall, I think Quintus looks really awesome here in robot mode. And when it comes to articulation, you do get quite a bit if we bring him up close here. The head is on a ball joint, so you can look up that high, down, that far. You can rotate it. Not a full 360. His chin's going to hit his little piece there, so don't try to break your Quintus. But he can look side to side. These shoulders can do a full 360. They can move in and out both on this joint and on this joint, so you can get a very high shoulder joint there. You do get bicep rotation. You get about 90 there at the elbow. The wrists do rotate, which is very nice included here on a deluxe figure. As far as these tentacles go, they can swing forward and back, and they can also swing in and out. He does have waist rotation above the bottom tentacles here, all of which can move up out of the way. These two are on a separate piece, but you can move all these up out of the way to get to his actual legs, which can kick forward that far, backward that far, outward. You can get a full split there. You do get rotation above the knee along with 90 degrees of bend there at the knee itself. The ankles cannot rotate, but they do get a very, very almost ankle breaking deep ankle bend. So that is very, very nice. Love that little ankle joint they gave us there. But overall, a very posable figure here with Quintus. And when it comes to his accessory, you can see it is just stuck right in there still. So we can flip around here and try to open up this back cockpit section. And we can pull it out if we want. Come on. You do kind of have to push forward on it sometimes here from the front to get it to pop out. But there you go. You can pop that out. As you can see, it does kind of leave a hole there with a little bit to be desired there if you take it out. But he can hold it if you want him to. And he can totally be ember stoning people and giving them life. But you can also kind of bring these tentacles forward, and they do have little ports on them there. Not sure if those are blast compatible or not. I'm not sure. I don't have any on me to try it, but you can try. But if you bring those forward, they do kind of look like blasters, so you can kind of arm Quintus up and have him with the Ember Stone, which is a deadly duo. And hello, this is TF Collector from the very near future, coming to you to let you know that not only can he hold the Ember Stone in his hand, but he can also hold it in his little tentacle hand. Yay. And for our first comparison, here is Quintus alongside the other 13 primes that we have so far, and especially in robot mode, I am loving the way these figures are looking so far. And here is Quintus with whatever CG image I can find of Quintus Prime that kind of, you can tell this is based off of. So there you go, there is Quintus with what he was based off of. So this has been my review for the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class, the 13 Quintus Prime, and a very unique figure here, but also very awesome. The robot mode is one of a kind, but I do really love the way it looks, especially the lower body with the squid tentacle look, and then the greens they used on this figure actually really pop, in my opinion, in person, and the purple is also a nice touch here and there where they threw that in. As far as accessories go, of course, he doesn't come with a blaster or anything, but he does come with the Ember Stone, which is pretty cool to have. I love the way all of the primes are including a different artifact, and this one is no exception. Do wish maybe he could have gotten a blaster, but the Ember Stone will certainly suffice for the accessories. Articulation is actually very good with deep ankle pivots, wrist rotation, and waist rotation. All three on a deluxe figure is certainly checking off many of the important boxes, so articulation gets an A+ from me. Just overall a really fun figure. The alt mode is unique, and it's a flying spaceship tentacle death machine, and I actually really think it looks pretty cool. But overall, as you can tell, I am a big fan of Quintus, and I would certainly recommend him. If I had to rate Quintus on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give Quintus a 8.5 out of 10. I think he is deserving of the 8.5. One of my favorite primes we've gotten here for Age of the Primes so far. And yeah, just overall a really, really fun figure. So I also have Amalgamus, who we will take a look at next. And yeah, just look forward to that review and get your hands on a Quintus if you have the desire to do so, because he is a very fun figure. So that's my review for Quintus. Don't forget, never sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. I will see you all soon with more videos, and until then, roll out. Peace!